So the final race of the weekend for DD2 for everyone. It's been brilliant here at Wackersdorf. I thoroughly enjoyed my first visit to this circuit. Everything about it, from the racing to the setting to the facilities to the organisation to the support from the crowd down here, has been first rate. Let's talk you through the grid then in full for the final race of the weekend. On pole position is Baz Lammers, the double world champion, former European champion here. And a rare outing with the RGMMC, and he has got the cart onto pole position. Paolo Di Conto is second on the grid. He gave Baz a pretty decent run for his money in the pre-final. Third on the grid was the star of yesterday, Luca Kamali. He's still very much in the mix. Rupa Markkanen has been thereabouts all weekend long. Can he get onto the podium? He's fourth. Then on row 3, it's the championship leader, Frank Kansharp, and Anthony Abbas, the round 1 winner. On row 4, Kevin Ludi, forever in the top 10 in the championship. One of the stalwarts of the steeries. Marcel Schirmer, one to watch from 8th on the grid. Row 5, Barry Pollinger and Rasmus Markkanen. Rasmus, who's the twin brother of Rupa Markkanen, and was the DD2 Finnish champion of last year. Row 6, Lorenzo Van Riet and Philip Sewa. Row 7, Maxi Fleischmann and double British Open champion in his first weekend of DD2, Ollie Myers. Row 8, Konstantin Scholl and Alessio Curto. Row 9, Pascal Marshall and Sanad Al-Rahawi. Row number 10 then, we have got Fred Woodley and Marius Rauer. Marius has been racing for 3 years, also in his first season of DD2, and formerly a runner-up in the German Rotax Max Championship. Row 11, Enrico Baptista, who was 4th in the points before this weekend started, but it's not gone well so far. Yannick Jendrzek starts alongside. Row 12 is our fastest master from pre-final. Kawazi Tomokazu came from the back to 23rd and is the highest placed master on the grid. Randy Volk is next up. Row 13, Annalisa Dreyspring and Mark Lupfer. Row 14, Igor Mukin, the points leader in Masters, and Bradley Liebenberg, who's much, much quicker than 28th on the grid. And then on row 15, Tom Pitlick and Geza Fodor, the former Hungarian and CEE karting champion, who also, fact of the day, is a keen climber and has climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. Row 16, Dimitris Vassileris and Tamsin Germain with work to do for Masters. And the final row of the grid is Alexis Corso and Nicholas Grenz, who's another one that ought to come charging through because he's a quick driver in his home circuit, or his home country at least. Right, hold your breath. Get yourselves comfortable and get your eyes on the track or on the screen, because this promises to be a fantastic end to the weekend, Chris Dawes.
Oh, it's on the prize.
The DD2s, again, hard to predict. The quality of the entry, magnificent. We're about to go racing.
That's a very steady lead up to the start we're having here, isn't it? But as eyes on the prize, are they going to be given the go-ahead? It's quite spread out last time. Bit of bumping and boring there. 616. Luca Kamali just tapped the back of Baz Lammers, but I don't think you're going to upset Baz Lammers as easily as that. He's an absolute pro as they go charging into this pinch point down at turn number 3. There's a bit of connection in the middle of the pack. Turn one of them round as they were all trying to arrive at the same point. Can't quite make out the numbers that have lost out there. We'll pick it up in a little while, but as they come round for the first time, it's a little bit tricky to see from the distance exactly who it is that has that lead. It looks like it is still Baz Lammers has managed to take it no matter what tapping he was getting.
It's Di Conto, I think. Di Conto's got the lead, I reckon. 6-2-8, is it? No, my mistake. No, very similar, aren't they? You're right. It's, yeah, Lammers still. Di Conto second. And Kamali, I think he's third, isn't he?
Oh, we got someone's very noisy there with some of the contact that was had towards the rear. That's 670. It's Pascal Marshall, and we've got a couple of them that have been moved out of the way there. So a very adventurous start, and look at that. They were almost side by side as they came across that first time. It's Baz Lammers from Paolo Di Conto. Luca Kamali is still there, and Ferenc Concha is now up into 4th position already with Kevin Ludi just behind him.
Ikancha had a feint up the inside there to try and get another place. Watch for the red and white suit. A challenge for second place here. Luca Kamali having a go, but having to back off out of it through the hairpin. Into the double right at turn 6 and 7 they go then. And already into the chicane. Thumping over the curbs is our race leader, Baz Lammers. Paolo Di Conto there in second place. Luca Kamali next up. Annalisa Dreyspring comes into the pit. She's also had damage. I think she's the one with the noisy exhaust. Pascal Marshall also retires with her. Ahead of the field though, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carts all together. Luca Kamali third, Ferenc Kansharp 4th, Kevin Ludi and Anthony Abbas in that lead group. Rupa Markkanen has slipped back to 7th, and Barry Pollinger is in 8th place as they go on to lap 3.
Yep, and we had Marcel Schirmer drop down to 10th. Both Markkanen twins have not had an ideal opening lap. They are running line astern in 8th and 9th. So Rasmus Markkinen has managed to recover a little bit. Maxi Fleischmann's just behind in 10th position there. Marcel Schirmer is in 12th. So have we got a change for first? Difficult to see. We're trying to see it. I think we have had that. Paolo Di Conto has managed to get past Baz Lammers. Indeed, on a bit of bumping and boring behind. The French Conso is basically just pushing his way through there. Just ahead of him is 6.09. So Kevin Ludi has managed to get ahead of French Conso. But French Conso was not going to hang about for very long to try and see if we can get those positions back.
Yep, and he might have a look at already. In fact, he's going to have to defend because Barry Pullinger launches one up the inside. They both run out wide, and Rupert Markkinen says, "Thank you very much. I'll get past the pair of you," and gains 2 positions for the price of 1. So that's all changed a bit further back at the head of the field, though. Our new race leader, Paolo Di Conto, he's got Luca Kamali who's gone with him, and out of 3rd place is Baz Lammers.
Anthony Abbas up to 4th as well.
Lammers has got Anthony Abbas right with him, hasn't he? Like literally on his tail in 4th place. So this is better. He had a slightly quiet start to the day, didn't he, in the pre-final? Kevin Ludi 5th, Rupert Markkinen in 6th place. And right behind Rupert Markkinen is Barry Pullinger. Rasmus Markkinen is 8th, Frank Kanchar 9th, Marcel Schirmer currently running in 10th place. Barry Pullinger is lining up a move, fires one down the inside, and that's enough to get him up to 6th place. So he dives down the inside of Rupert Markkinen. Rupert runs wide and loses out as well to his twin brother Rasmus Markkinen, who's got a bit more experience, 1 more year's worth of experience in DD2. Green flag's in on the start line, which means I think somebody's gone off down in the last corner, but the leaders come through untroubled. The leader, Paolo Di Conto, now 0.3 of a second clear. Kamali 2nd, Lammers 3rd, Abbas in 4th place. No change at turn 3.
No, and I don't think it's going to stay that way for long, where we can say the phrase no change, because it really is tight. What has Anthony Abbas done to his car in that break to make it better? He looked very focused, not necessarily excessively talkative this time, but he did say enough to let us know that he'd made some changes. And as I said in the interview, the last time he did that was going into qualifying, and it made a massive difference. He's right there on the back of them at the moment, isn't he? His target is Baz Lammers, 6.78, who sat there in 3rd position. Luca Kamali just there, and I think we've just had a change there, but they're trying to do the let's work together again, but I've never seen that actually work yet, where they just agree that they're going to follow.
Kamali gets the place back from Baz Lammers, but it does allow the race leader to get away further still. So Kamali snatching his 2nd place back. Baz Lammers launching one up the inside into turn 2. They're wheel to wheel, and Abbas is trying to get into the action as well at turn 3. I think Kamali maybe just with his nose in front, but Abbas is having a go, and Kevin Ludi is getting involved in the action as well. 2nd, 3rd, 4th all together. 5th and 6th are in there as well almost. So if the leader comes through into the chicane, it's clearly now Paolo Di Conto. Emerging in 2nd place is Baz Lammers. 3rd is Anthony Abbas, so he got through, and the one that lost out was Luca Kamali. So he's gone from 2nd down to 4th, with Kevin Ludi on his case in 5th, and Barry Pullinger in the bright blue suit look, reeling them in wheel to wheel for 3rd place here as the change happens with Luca Kamali grabbing the place back. Kevin Ludi's trying to snatch a position as well, so it'll be 2 places lost then for Anthony Abbas.
Oh, but Anthony Abbas isn't giving up, is he? And again, Kevin Ludi's trying to give the signal, let's work together. They never agree to, and Anthony Abbas is having a look up the inside, and he's managed to do that through turn number 2. Good grief, we've only seen that this afternoon where they've been trying to do moves like that. So Anthony Abbas has that position back again as quickly as that, and that puts him back up into what was it, 5th position?
Yep.
4th position, I think, sorry. I think we got someone that's got their timing thing not working, and it takes a moment to catch up there. But nice and comfortably out in the lead at the moment is Paolo Di Conto, kind of Italy-esque at the moment. He's got 1.2 second lead at this stage, and everybody's fighting so hard behind him, they're not really able to close. But he needs to be aware that Baz Lammers has broken that toe at this stage, so he is alone, and so he's going to start looking forward.
Just about the fastest driver on the track at the moment is Marcel Schirmer. He's back up to 9th place. He's done a 50.4. There's only Paolo Di Conto that is quicker than the German driver, so he might be looking to make some progress. So too Rasmus Markkinen and Frank Kanchar. They're 7th and 8th. They're doing their damnedest to catch the lead group as well. 12 laps to go still. A long way left to run in this race, but they're going to have to start now thinking about Paolo Di Conto and closing that gap. The one driver that is doing that is Baz Lammers. Now, he didn't close the gap on that lap, but for the first time, he matched the pace of the race leader. He's broken clear of all the battles that have been going on and delaying him. So Baz Lammers, the pole sitter now, trying to get his head down. The gap that he needs to try and close is 1.3 seconds.
I tell you, someone who's done an incredible opening stint in this race. He started 28th position. The South African Bradley Liebenberg had a very topsy-turvy weekend. Some great stuff and then some bad fortune. He's up to 9th position and I say had because Paolo Di Conto's just beaten it, and Luca Kamali's beaten it again. But he had the fastest lap, so great performance by Bradley Liebenberg.
Fourth and fifth were nose to tail into turn 3, but there was no change. Anthony Bass under pressure from Kevin Ludi. You have to look a long way down the order to take a look at the Masters. But in the Masters race, Igor Mukin is 26th, Tamsin Germain is 27th, Geza Fodor is 28th, and Kawazi Tamakazu is out of the race, I'm afraid. So he's out. Lorenzo Van Riet's another one that dropped out of the race early on. So Igor Mukin and Tamsin Germain are together. They're a long way down the order, but they're battling for maximum points and the overall victory in the Masters class for the drivers aged 32 and above. And they come past the commentary box down towards turn 9. And Tamsin Germain is only a couple of lengths behind the Russian.
Look at this on the screen at the moment. We are really understandably following Kevin Ludi, desperately trying to find a way past Anthony Abbas as they go flashing past us in 4th and 5th respectively. It is just the two of them. They don't need to worry about the cars behind or in front of them. They are able to focus each other, and we have seen that go backwards and forwards a couple of times already, and that's far from over. And Anthony Abbas has actually lost that position to Kevin Ludi as they went down to the turn number 5, the second of the hairpins, and Kevin Ludi is ahead of Anthony Abbas into that 4th position, but Anthony Abbas is going to happily try again. He had an exclusion from the final in the last round, so he's going to have a do-or-die attitude. He doesn't care. That exclusion can't be a drop score, so he's just going to go all out and as high as he possibly can go at any opportunity he gets.
Guess who's just set the fastest lap of the race? The man in 9th, Bradley Liebenberg. He's absolutely storming after the two ahead of him. He's nearly up there with the championship leader, Frank Kanchar. So he'll be on the attack again and trying to gain positions in the next couple of laps. Rasmus Markkinen with the target after that in 7th place. There's a good scrap going on actually between Barry Pullinger and Rasmus Markkinen, the tail end of the top 6. So there are our two leaders. There's 3rd, 4th and 5th together. There's Barry Pullinger. Actually, he's pulled away on this lap, Barry, in the all blue colours from Rasmus Markkinen. Rasmus now probably more worried about Frank Kanchar, who's only about a couple of tenths of a second behind him, and they're both being caught by number 6, 7, 8 in the silverish helmet, the chrome helmet, number 6, 7, 8 being the fastest lap holder, Bradley Liebenberg. There is Barry Pullinger on your screen, and he's on a good lap here.
Yeah, it shows you the nature of this circuit, that there's so many overtaking places, but there's also so many places where you can consider making a move, and it can cost you very easily 2 or 3 places. We had Ferenc Konchar, our championship leader, was actually running in 4th position from memory at one stage, and he's down in 8th position at the moment, but lap time wise, he is very comparable, 50.3, so he has every chance of still being able to make some positions up. His next target will be Rasmus Markkinen, but out front, Paolo Di Conto has managed to get that lead to 1.5 seconds, but he's only just a smidge faster than Baz Lammers in 2nd, literally a matter of thousands of seconds in their lap times. But the faster one out of all of those just behind was Luca Kamali. Nope, sorry, Paolo Di Conto was 0.003 of a second quicker than
Bradley
Luca Kamali.
Liebenberg has caught up and now passed Frank Kanchar. That's been coming for a couple of corners. So the South African gets ahead of the Hungarian. It's not quite working out according to plan this for the championship leader. Kanchar is down to 9th place. Liebenberg with a move at turn 11 up to 8th position. Paolo Di Conto crosses the line with 7 laps to go. And the new fastest lap of the race for the Italian, 50.024. 50.088 for Baz Lammers, 50.027 for Luca Kamali, 50.044 for Kevin Ludi. That means that within 40 hundredths of a second, the top 4 are all lapping in the same lap times and incredibly quickly. So Paolo Di Conto nailing the fastest lap, but he's barely pulled any further clear of Baz Lammers. But 1.6 seconds with 6.5 laps to go, that's a fairly healthy advantage. Good to see Barry Pullinger back on form as well. He was 6th in the championship 2 years ago. Last year didn't work out, but Barry Pullinger is beginning to close on Anthony Abbas for 5th place.
Yeah, I hope he didn't take offence by the way that I worded the question, saying he's pretty much been sneaking up and then suddenly taking those positions, but that's really what it's felt like for him. He just quietly gets on with the job, absolutely masterfully, and then suddenly he'll find a little spot, taken by surprise, bang, he'll just jump up the inside. It was a compliment, and I hope he took it that way, and he's doing it yet again. What do you say? He's up into 6th position, having started, he says, looking quickly at his 9th. So he's getting himself in the mix. His next target will be Anthony Abbas, that has been upwards and downwards in this race. So what's he going to be able to do?
And just behind Frank Kanchar, Rupert Markkinen rounds out the top 10. It's not quite gone the way he would have liked as well. I really did think one of the Markkinens we'd see on the podium this weekend, but it might not happen now. They've both been very competitive, and there's lots of promise for the races ahead. 5 to go then. Paolo Di Conto has now, I think, sealed the deal because he's 2 seconds clear. Baz Lammers can't quite match the Italian and is falling back, if anything, into the clutches of Luca Camali. So second and third, there might be a dispute between those 2 positions. 4th place, Kevin Ludi is just as quick as them as well. So a gap has developed back to Anthony Abbas in 5th, Barry Pullinger in 6th. And
Yeah, look how close. Sorry, Chris. I was going to say, look how close those 2 are as well. We were saying about the silent assassin, Barry Pullinger, and he is. And he's just, I'm sure, look at him. He's lining him up. Is he going to look towards the inside as they head down towards turn number 11? I don't think so there. He just lost a bit of drive out of the hairpin turn number 9 there. But he's certainly looking for that opportunity. I don't think he's going to try and do turn number 12 here. But coming onto the start-finish straight, he is definitely lining him up for another one of the Pullinger moves, isn't he?
There's a very nice move from Rupert Markkanen at turn 9 there. That was to go ahead of Frank Canchar. So Rupert Markkanen with a good bit of outbraking, getting 9th place now. With 4 laps to go, the leaders are about to make their way towards the chicane at turn 8 and coming back into our sight. We should see Paolo Di Conto with lots of breathing space here. Baz Lammers on the last lap was caught again by a few hundredths of a second by the driver in the 3rd position, Luca Camali. Kevin Ludi still in 4th place. Barry Pullinger closing under braking once again on the 5th place of Anthony Abbas. Anthony carrying an exclusion from Italy. He finished 4th on the track but was excluded at the end of the race for a technical infringement. So he might well fall further down the championship once the drop scores are taken into consideration. There is Abbas. There in the blue and yellow colour scheme is the Dan Holland Racing driver, Barry Pullinger, and Rasmus Markkanen not far behind them in 7th place. Bradley Liebenberg and then Rupert Markkanen and then Frank Canchar rounding out the top 10 with 3 to go.
Well, definitely the driver to watch out for is still Bradley Liebenberg, sat in that 8th position, closing in rapidly on Rasmus Markkanen. A couple of seconds a lap, he is quicker. And Barry Pullinger needs to be aware of Rasmus just behind him. We said earlier that Barry Pullinger in the blue overalls with the white, blue and yellow cart that's just heading down towards turn number 9 now was originally putting the pressure on Anthony Abbas, but now he's got Rasmus Markkanen right behind him. Is Rasmus going to look up the inside? He is indeed, as he heads into turn 11, straight up the inside. So the silent assassin got assassinated himself by Rasmus Markkanen, who just jumps up into that, what does that put him now, 6th position, and all the while Bradley Liebenberg is closing in that 8th position to join the fight.
2 laps to go and Luca Camali is really beginning to reel in Baz Lammers for 2nd place. So this is going to be a tasty end to the race. We might have our winner sorted. But look at this, a move from Luca Camali down into the hairpin to try and get Baz Lammers. I think he might just make it stick. And we've also got Kevin Ludi trying to get on the action as well. But Luca Camali there with a fantastic move at turn 5. He's done it. Ludi followed him through. So Baz Lammers finds himself off the podium now, down in 4th place. There they are, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Camali, the German driver, has pulled off some super overtaking manoeuvres all weekend long, and that was one that was just as good as the one to get the victory at the end of the race in his first heat yesterday, down to the very last corner. So a lap to go, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Under dispute.
And the other thing that was being disputed there is that Barry Pullinger managed to get back past Rasmus Markkanen and took Bradley Liebenberg with him. So Pullinger is back up to 6th, Bradley Liebenberg into 7th, Rasmus Markkanen losing 2 positions, back into 8th position as they go into the final lap.
Kevin Ludi is breathing down the neck of Luca Camali. Paolo Di Conto is way clear at the head of the field. But for 2nd place, we're going to see some action surely here. And watch for Baz Lammers at the back of the group as well. Not worried at all about championship points. He swings out wide into turn 9. Tries to get the better run out of the corner. Couple more corners to go. Kevin Ludi has a think about it, but he's too far back into turn 11. Luca Camali gets a good run out of the corner, and that might just seal it for the German driver. But there is a delighted Paolo Di Conto. 2 arms off the wheel. He punches the air. He wins the race. Luca Camali punches the air in delight with 2nd place as well. Let's not forget, this is his best ever race in the championship. So Luca Camali, he might not have won the race, but that's fantastic. 3rd on the grid. He's been super all weekend long. And great to see a representative of the home country making it onto the podium. A German driver in 2nd place. And a great weekend as well for Kevin Ludi. He's sort of been in stealth mode as well this week. And others like Abbas and Di Conto and Camali and Lammers have sort of taken the headlines. But you had the likes of Barry Pullinger and Kevin Ludi, who have been there all weekend long, quietly going about their business. And Kevin Ludi, it is fantastic to see the very likeable Swiss driver and Spirit Racing back on the podium. So Paolo Di Conto doing what he did in Italy, winning by a very big margin of 3 seconds. CRG teammate Luca Camali makes it a 1-2 for the team in second place. Kevin Ludi for Spirit Racing in third position. Fourth place is Baz Lammers. Fifth place, Anthony Abbas. Sixth for Barry Pullinger. Seventh for Rasmus Markkanen. Eighth for Rupert Markkanen. Ninth for Frank Canchar. And 10th place for Bradley Liebenberg. 11th, Marcel Schirmer. 12th, Fred Woodley. 13th, Nicholas Grentz. 14th, Oliver Myers. 15th, Konstantin Scholl. And then 16th, Sanad Al-Rahawi. In 17th was Philip Siwa. 18th, Alessio Curto. 19th was Dimitros Vassileris. 20th, Maxi Fleischmann. 21st, Yannick Jendrzejk. 22nd, Marius Rauer. 23rd, Tom Pitlick. Then we come to our Masters winner. Well done to Igor Mukin from Russia. He wins the Masters category. 24th place overall. 25th, Alexis Corso. 26th and 2nd in the Masters was Geza Fodor. And then 27th and 3rd in the Masters, Tamsin Germain. 28th place to Mark Lupfer. 29th for Enrique Baptista. And 30th to Randy Vonk. Non-finishes for Annalisa Dreyspring, Lorenzo Van Riet, Pascal Marshall, and a non-finish as well for Kawazi Tomokazu. So Igor Mukin, the Russian driver, the winner of Masters, the top three overall. Third place, Kevin Ludi. Second place, Luca Camali. And the winner, Paolo Di Conto. And now we can take a look at the updated provisional championship points on RGMMC TV. So Ferenc Canchar leads the way still, but only just. 16 points was his advantage before the weekend. It's reduced now to just 2 points going towards the final round in Belgium, because Paolo Di Conto has got 243 points after that win. Back-to-back wins for the Italian, 245 points for Ferenc Canchar. It's going to go right down to the wire. Third in the championship still is Marcel Schirmer on 221, but he's lost a little bit of ground to the top two. Rasmus Markkanen for VRT is fourth in the championship. He's got 206 points, the same points as Barry Pullinger for Dan Holland Racing. Rupert Markkanen is sixth on 203. Luca Camali has moved up to seventh place with that podium finish on 201. Anthony Abbas, Kevin Ludi and Lorenzo Van Riet are also in the top 10 in the standings with 1 round to go.